Welcome to Module 3 of Palm Oil Farming course. In this module, we are going to look at planting and farm establishment. Planting and farm establishment are also critical stages in palm oil farming because it determines long-term productivity. After nursery management, seedlings must be carefully transplanted using proper techniques. Okay, so by the end of this module, learners will be able to explain the process of transplanting oil palm seedlings, apply correct spacing techniques in plantation layout, identify essential early maintenance practices, recognize common planting mistakes and how to avoid them, demonstrate practical understanding through field-based scenarios. Okay, so let's look at transplanting seedling. Transplanting is an agronomic process, of transferring oil palm seedlings from the nursery to the permanent field where they will grow to maturity and produce fruits. It is a highly sensitive stage, in palm establishment because improper handling of these seedlings can damage the roots, reduce survival rates, and negatively affect long-term yield potential. You can see that transplanting must be carried out with care. It must be carried out with precision and at the appropriate time to ensure successful field establishment, particularly in regions such as Nigeria. So let's talk about when to even transplant. When do we need to transplant? Okay, oil palm seedlings are considered ready for transplanting when they have reached a certain level of maturity and physiological strength that enables them to withstand field conditions. So you should watch out to ensure that seedlings should be about 9 to 12 months old, indicating full development in the main nursery stage. So if it is not 9 to 12 months old, don't take it from the nursery. You should also ensure that the seedlings are healthy and free from pests and diseases so that it can ensure strong field performance. Now, the seedlings must possess 3 to 5 well-developed leaves. When you discover that it has 3 to 5 well-developed leaves, that is when you go and transplant, because this reflects adequate photosynthetic capacity. The seedlings must also have a strong and well-formed root system that is capable of absorbing water and nutrients effectively. Okay, so let's look at the steps in transplanting. First, you begin with site preparation. The land must be cleared, plowed, and properly laid out. Then you dig hole. The standard size for digging hole is about 60 centimeter by 60 centimeter by 60 centimeter. Then you mix oil with manure. Mix the soil with manure. Then the next step is you remove the seedlings. You water it before you remove it. Then so that you can avoid root damage. Okay, then let's talk about the next step, planting. That is where you place the seedling upright in the hole that you've dug already. You place it, the seedling in it, then fill the soil and firm gently. Ensure that you check that it is firm, but do that gently so that it will not break away. Then after that, you water immediately after planting, and then maintain moisture during early growth. Keep coming to irrigate it. So proper planting ensures strong root establishment. Okay, now these are precautions you need to take note during transplanting. Number 1, avoid transplanting during extreme heat and drought conditions because it can increase seedling stress. Number 2, prevent root damage during removal and planting. Then 3, avoid planting seedlings too deep or too shallow because this will affect root development and stability. You should also ensure soil is firmly packed around the plant to provide adequate support and prevent air spaces. So you need to follow this precaution significantly because if you follow it, it will improve survival rate and even plantation uniformity. Now let's talk about spacing technique. Now spacing is very important in oil palm cultivation. It refers to the systematic arrangement of plants in the field to ensure that each tree has adequate space for optimal growth, development, and even productivity. So proper spacing is a critical agronomic practice because oil palm is a perennial crop. And you know, as perennial crop, it remains in the field for over 2 decades. So incorrect spacing can permanently affect the yield. It can also affect plantation efficiency and even overall farm sustainability. Okay, so that is why spacing is very important. Now let's look at the recommended standard spacing system. It is recommended that you do 9 meter by 9 meter triangular spacing. This will provide equal distance between the plants. It can also allow about 143 palms per hectare. Okay, so it can also promote efficient land use and uniform growth. So this system is widely used in oil palm plantations world over. So proper spacing is important, because it prevents overcrowding. It reduces competition for nutrients and water. Okay, it can also improve air circulation. It can enhance sunlight penetration. It can also improve management efficiencies. Okay, so let's talk about early maintenance practices. We've talked about how to space. Okay, now let's talk about but before we talk about early maintenance practices, let's look at common spacing mistakes you need to avoid. Despite the importance of proper spacing, there are several mistakes that are often made during field establishment, especially by farmers that are inexperienced. First is planting too close together. Avoid overcrowding because this can lead to intense competition for light, nutrients, and water, resulting in weak and even stunted growth. You should also avoid uneven spacing. Irregular plant distribution disrupts plantation uniformity and it can also reduce land efficiency. Now mistakes inexperienced farmers make again is ignoring layout designs. Failure to follow proper triangular or systemic layout results in poor field organization and even difficulty in farm management. So let's look at early maintenance practices now. Early maintenance ensures successful establishment of young palms. Okay, so what is even early maintenance? It refers to the series of agronomic practices that are carried out immediately after transplanting oil palm seedlings into the field. This stage is very critical because young oil palm plants are still in their establishment phase and are highly vulnerable to environmental stress. They are vulnerable to pests, diseases, and even competition from weeds. So proper early maintenance ensures high survival rates, uniform growth, and strong establishment of the plantation. So in oil palm growing regions such as Nigeria, effective early maintenance is essential for achieving long-term productivity and plantation sustainability. So example of such early maintenance practices include watering, regular watering, which is necessary, okay, especially during dry season. Okay, so and this helps to maintain adequate soil moisture. Okay, it helps to prevent wilting, dehydration, and early seedling mortality, ensuring better survival rate. Another practice is mulching to conserve moisture. Mulching involves covering the soil surface. When we say mulching, it means covering the soil surface around the base of the oil palm seedlings with organic material such as dry leaves. You can also use grasses, palm fronds, or compost material. This helps to conserve soil moisture by reducing evaporation from the soil surface. It also suppresses weed growth, thereby reducing competition for nutrients and water. It also improves soil fertility, as the organic material decompose over time, adding nutrients to the soil. This will also help to regulate soil temperature, protecting roots from extreme heat. That is why it is important. Another thing is weeding. Weeding involves regular removal, of unwanted plants that grows around the oil palm seedlings to prevent competition for essential resources such as nutrients, water, and even sunlight. Okay. Then fertilizer application is also essential, for supplying nutrients required for early growth and development of oil palm seedlings. Don't forget, we'll talk about the nutrients that are required by oil palm in module 2. Talk about nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and even magnesium. Okay, so you also have to control pests and diseases. Pests and diseases, young palm seedlings are very vulnerable to pests and diseases, and you have to continually inspect. This continuous inspection will help in early detection of pests and diseases before they spread, and common issues like leaf spores, fungal infections, and insect attacks can be avoided. Okay, or you can also control it. Early identification allows for timely and effective control measures. Okay, then gap filling. Gap filling simply means replacement of dead seedling. So when you see that some seedlings are dead, weak, or missing, you now try to replace them. That is what we call gap filling. Okay, it is important to ensure uniformity in the plantation. Now, you can see from this module that planting and farm establishment are also essential stages in oil palm production. So by mastering these practices, farmers can establish a very healthy, uniform plantations capable of sustaining high production over many years. Thank you for listening.